As I've done videos this week on Mormon mom influencers and ballerina farms, I've had so many people asking, why are so many Mormons momfluencers? I love this question specifically. Are Mormon moms encouraged to be influencers by the church? So I want to dive into that as concisely as I can as somebody who is a Mormon and a mom influencer. First of all, there's a couple of core Mormon doctrines that really set the stage for what happens online. Number one, there is a Mormon doctrine that women are supposed to be moms. Prophets have taught this for generations. Women are supposed to come home from the typewriters and laundries and all of the jobs and just be the queen of the home, culminating in something that you can Google online. It's called the LDS Family Proclamation, where the First Presidency of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints explicitly spelled out that gender was something that was created in our past life, and that women are to be nurturers and men are to go out and provide for their families and actually work. So Mormon women are supposed to stay home, get married, have babies, or we set goals around all kinds of homemaking skills and things that would make us the perfect ideal Mormon wife. Mormons value things like talent. For me, it was piano from age 4 and organ and opera lessons and all kinds of different things that really expressed the beautiful talents that God had blessed us with. I don't know anyone more accomplished than my Mormon friends. I never have. I never will. When Kevin and I first moved in together, he would comment all the time about how blown away he was by everything that I knew how to do, like going down in the kitchen in the morning and grinding all my homemade pancakes from fresh wheat, being able to speak in front of people in public, and throw a little family gathering for 60 of my closest friends. These are all Mormon skills. Next, you have Mormon commandments to marry young and to have as many children as you can, which puts a lot of these accomplished women squarely in the home, surrounded by beautiful blonde Scandinavian-looking kids. Add to that the Mormon work ethic of, today while the sun shines, work with a will, put your shoulder to the wheel. Mormon prophets have commanded their followers to be industrious. And then even little factors like the Mormon command to have food storage at all times. For me, it was a year's supply. I think that now they're talking about maybe a 3-month supply of food storage, which meant that I had tons of fresh wheat to grind and canned milk and all kinds of stuff that I had to learn the skills to whip up meals for my family. Lastly, as a Mormon female, I felt an insane amount of pressure to be pretty. There was Mormon doctrine around Eve being the crowning jewel of creation, and how that while Adam was the workhorse and he was there to tend the garden, that Eve was beautiful and long-haired and gorgeous, and women being just absolutely the cherry on top of the family pie. And there's definitely a specific type in Mormonism, because most of the converts to the Mormon church in the pioneer days were from Germany and Sweden and Austria and Britain. For some reason, not a lot of African Americans were converting back in 1860. Don't know why. Oh, I know I said that was the last thing, but lastly is this feeling that I had as a Mormon that I cannot again describe to other people, that I had been chosen, that I had been saved for the last days so that my little blonde self could be a light to the world in this sin-filled, fallen, post-Garden of Eden era that we're living in, that I had been saved up, that I had come into the kingdom just for this time so that my candle could shine on top of the mountain and not put it under a bushel. I literally believed that every breathing, waking moment of my life was basically marketing for the gospel of Joseph Smith. I took that extremely seriously. When I dressed my kids for school, I knew that all of the non-members knew that my kids were Mormons, and I wanted to make sure that we were representing. I would actually say that to my kids all the time. If they walked out the door in something that I thought was slutty or slovenly, I would say, you are representing the Green family brand. And as the CEO of the company, I'm a little bit ashamed by our marketing material right now. Go change those jeans. I should have Chloe do her own video on this. So it's the perfect storm for Mormon mom influencers to take over the world, because you have all of these brilliant, hardworking, gorgeous, accomplished women with all of these babies, and sometimes they have financial reasons why they have to make money. For me, my ex-husband was kind of scammy and had lost a couple of businesses, and we're about to have our $1 million house foreclosed on. And so I hopped on the doTERRA bandwagon and started building a brand around the only thing that I actually knew how to do, which was be a mom. I actually went to college to be a mom. took dating and marriage and child development, paid thousands of dollars, had student loans for years, so I could learn how to be trafficked by the Mormon church to my ex-husband. I didn't know how to fill out a resume. I didn't know how to even open up a computer and do anything. So when push came to shove and I needed to make money, I turned to, look at me, I can grind wheat and my kids can play violins, and we bought a horse farm in South Carolina long before Ballerinafarms was a twinkle in anybody's eye. And I went gangbusters with Dear Mrs. Green and had radio shows and podcasts, and our full-time income for years was off of my little organic mom influencer brand. And it gave me a way to fulfill my purpose on this earth, which was to stay inside the home with my kids. I always loved when I was broadcasting my radio show from our back porch while the kids jumped on the trampoline and ran around the horse pastures, because I could have my cake and eat it too. I knew that Jesus was watching, and I knew that he saw that I was trying to fulfill that commandment to stay home with my kids while also supporting my family as my ex-husband became increasingly incompetent. And I did watch as other people who worked side by side with me didn't rise to the level of popularity and financial success that I did. And some of them were more competent, more trained, were harder working, but they didn't have the long blonde hair. They didn't have the 5 Scandinavian looking kids. The size double D bra on the 112-pound frame with an opera voice and baby grand piano in the middle of a horse farm. And there wasn't a day that I didn't get on my radio show or write a blog that I had said my prayers first, that I could be that light to the world, that I could bring the world his truth, that somehow my message, whether it was about lavender oil or organic butter or raising your own chickens, would inspire and touch somebody to ask me more about the church that I belong to. And I hate to admit it, but a big chunk of my income today is still my doTERRA residual from the years that I spent prancing around a horse farm saying all y'all and drinking organic raw milk out of a mason jar. I just want to end with this. I didn't realize when I was living out that Mormon fantasy, stay-at-home mom, organic farm lifestyle, how really hard it had been and what it had cost me to have so many babies so young and to spend all of my time in the kitchen grinding wheat and doing all that stuff. I didn't realize how happy I could be once I had options, and I mean day-to-day options. Sometimes I do still get up and make the quintessential Mormon organic mom homemade breakfast, and sometimes it's frozen biscuit sandwiches from Walmart. And that fairy tale lifestyle was truly the best of times and the worst of times, because yes, I have talents and skills and all kinds of things that I would have never had otherwise, but it came at great cost. Messy pantry, mom belly, crooked eyebrows and all.